Alright everyone, so today is a little bit of a big video for me. So in 2 days, so on Friday this week, it is my last day officially of Teachers College, which means that it is bringing my 9-year university career to a close. And I just thought I'd make this video just telling you all about how I feel graduating Teachers College. So the first thing is, do I feel like a better teacher walking out of Teachers College than into Teachers College? And the short answer is that I think I'm a better teacher. It's really hard to say. So for me, I came in with a pretty good background. However, I don't really feel like in too many of the classes that I learned a lot. A lot of the classes were stuff I already knew or just repeated each other. However, when we start talking about the practicums, that's probably where I learned the most. I learned a lot about the administrative tasks of a teacher, how to communicate with students who are under the age of 18, how to work with different age groups, something that I haven't done since I was that age. For example, again, grade 12s. I've dealt with first years, I've taught first year university students, I've taught second year university students, but I've never gone back to high school to teach grade 12s and grade 10s, right? And learning that they don't have a grasp of the basic concepts sometimes means you need to build everything from the ground up. And it's good to see that now versus walking into my first day of teaching and having no clue what to expect. So I think I have a really good baseline for teaching grade 9 science, because right now I'm doing grade 8 science and grade 7 math. And what that means is I understand what they have coming into grade 9. Now I've done grade 10 in my placement, and I've done grade 12 as well. So again, I feel like I've got a good mix of different experiences working with different age groups, working with different subjects, general science, chemistry, biology, etc. But I think I also just feel a lot more confident interacting with my peers and other teachers. I think sometimes when you're coming in, it's very easy to be shy and very easy to place yourself as like the lowest level authority in that school. However, you learn over time that you need to be very, very confident in your decisions. Sometimes you have to make decisions that you wouldn't have otherwise. You would have thought that, I can make my mentor teacher make the decisions, or, I can just stand up in front of a class and teach here and there, but that's not always the case. You need to decide, am I going to give this student a retest? Do I need to reteach concepts? What is my plan going to be for the short term and the long term? What skills do I want them to gain, and what skills do I want them to improve on? And these are all things that I never really thought about going into Teachers College with my previous experience. A lot of it was like, here's the facts, here's the information, let's do something with it now. But that's not the case in teaching. Another thing I think I've learned is a lot of classroom management tips from my practicum. And I think that's probably the most important piece. On top of the administrative work, a lot of the job just comes from managing the classrooms. Stopping students from getting maybe too upset or getting too worked up. Challenging students. Or having things basically taken down a level and scaffolding topics for students of different levels. That's something you don't learn really in Teachers College, but it's something that you only learn in your practicum. Now, another question that I've got that I've sort of really been thinking about is, what do I want to do after this? Do I want to do elementary? Do I want to do secondary? Do I want to supply right away? Do I want to LTO right away? Am I going to try and get a full-time job? And I think in the short term, the answer is that I really want to supply. I think that I want to get experience working at different schools, working with different principals, working with different teachers, and sort of networking through that. I think my ultimate goal in my career is to basically become a principal or a vice principal, or maybe even a superintendent if that pathway comes up. But I haven't even started teaching yet, so it's a little bit too soon to make that decision. However, I think right now it's a very good time for me to experience some different school cultures. As of right now, I've only really been at 2 or 3 schools with my practicum experiences. So it'd be nice to see different areas, especially because my 2 practicum schools were almost right beside each other, and one of the schools is a feeder school into the other one. So it was definitely an interesting experience knowing that, hey, I know you're grade 9 teacher for next year, you're going to have a lot of fun. And I know what they expect. Whereas I think that's going to be completely different if I try some different schools. Or hey, maybe even some different boards, you never know what happens. But with that said, I probably will also apply to some LTO positions. I've heard that at the end of the year, some teachers just take vacation for the last month, or they take a leave for the last month, so that way they don't have to write their report cards. So that might be a really good experience to walk into. One of the important things that principals and VPs look for is, do you have any administrative experience? Because, report cards is sort of a big thing, and if they're confident that you've done this before, that you've worked with the system, that you have this experience, they don't need to train you so much to do those report cards. So it's a really good way and a really good time to look for some LTOs. However, those LTOs are only going to be a month long, meaning that I'm probably going to be out of a job for the summer, and then I'm going to be starting from scratch again in September. But that is okay. Now, another question I've got is, what am I going to be doing over the summer? Because obviously, if I don't have school, and school is generally out, is there anything that I can do? Well, I'm going to try to get a summer school position. That might be nice. And it might be some good experience, right? To teach a whole course really condensed down into like 3 or 4 weeks. But also, outside of summer school, I'm thinking of taking my additional qualification, 1 or 2 of them. What that is that's just basically getting an extra teachable or being able to teach in an extra division, and it's a really good idea to get them out of the way at the start of your career. Because that way, once you're established in your teaching job, not only will they help you get that teaching job, but then you don't need to worry about them later. And they basically guarantee that you'll always have some sort of job if you do them in areas that there's high need. For example, for me, I'm thinking of either going with a junior basic qualification, so being able to teach grade 3 to 6 on top of my 7 to 12, or I might decide on a physics teachable or spec ed teachable. One of the 3. Again, big regions where a lot of work is. Now, the last question is, do I feel ready to be a teacher? And the answer is yeah. I think that learning to be a teacher is really the equivalent of being just thrown into the fire. There is nothing that can prepare you until you're in the classroom environment and making mistakes and learning from them. To be honest, no teacher is perfect. So I do think I'm ready to be a teacher. I think I'm ready to jump in, and I'm excited to see where that takes me and where that leads me. But obviously, since you're on the channel, you are going to be updated with all that fun stuff as it comes along. My transition into becoming a full-time teacher and becoming a supply teacher in LTO, whatever that looks like. I'll be putting that out soon. I'm going to continue with my interview question series, and then overall, we're just going to have a lot of fun. Also, I'm really hoping that the podcast is going to be coming back soon. We had to take a little bit of a break because we've had a ton of administrative stuff come up, and there's just been a couple other minor things that we've been improving. So you're going to see a whole new podcast come up. Hopefully, we're going to be having a ton of fun topics and some more guests. I'm hoping there'll be some surprises coming up. But with that said, as always, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you're all having a great day. I hope you've liked the video and you've subscribed to the channel. And with that said, see you later, and stay happy, safe, and healthy, everyone. Bye.